Not every sidekick was unforgettable like Robin. Some were so awkward, strange, or badly received that DC would rather you pretend they never existed. A breakdancing hero introduced in the 80s, mocked more than he was celebrated. A kid partner written with such cliché dialogue that readers cringed. And a young sidekick created to chase trends, who vanished as soon as the fad died. These weren't legacy builders. They were mistakes DC hopes you forget. So which sidekicks are DC hoping you'll never remember? Here are 10 sidekicks DC wants you to forget. At number 10 is Vibe. Paco Ramone, the breakdancing hero who joined the Justice League in 1984 during the Detroit era. He was introduced in Justice League of America, annual number 2, a time when DC was trying to make the league younger and more street level. Paco was a Puerto Rican teenager from Detroit with the ability to generate powerful vibrations, turning his dance-like moves into weapons. Though he brought diversity and energy, his heavy accent and breakdance gimmick made him feel like a stereotype, and DC soon wanted to forget him because fans saw him as an embarrassing attempt to be trendy. By 1987, in Justice League of America, issue 258, Vibe was killed by one of Professor Evo's androids, becoming the first Justice Leaguer to die in action. For decades, he was remembered more as a punchline than a hero, until the New 52 reboot and his reinvention on television's The Flash began to change his image, slowly turning him into a more respected symbol of resilience and representation. At number 9 is Danny Chase, the boy genius who became the most hated Teen Titan. He first appeared in 1987's New Teen Titans Annual Issue 3, created by Marv Wolfman during a period when the team was changing its lineup. Danny was a young prodigy, the son of spies, who joined the Titans with photographic memory, espionage knowledge, and a small degree of telekinesis. From the start, he clashed with the older members. His cocky attitude and constant wisecracks made him stand out for the wrong reasons, and fans quickly turned on him. In the story Titans Hunt, Danny tried to reinvent himself as the cloaked hero Phantasm, but his time was short. In 1991's New Titans number 84, he sacrificed himself during a battle with the Wildebeest Society to save his teammates. Unlike other Titans who later returned, Danny only resurfaced in rare storylines such as Blackest Night, but was never fully brought back. Writers even joked about how disliked he was. Today, Danny Chase remains remembered as a failed experiment. At number 8 is Kid Devil, Eddie Bloomberg, the young fan who became the devilish sidekick of Blue Devil. Eddie first appeared in 1984's Firestorm issue 24 and fully in Blue Devil issue 14 that same year. A teenage special effects enthusiast, he idolized Dan Cassidy, the hero known as Blue Devil. His admiration pushed him into the field, wearing a homemade devil-themed exosuit with gadgets like rockets and flamethrowers. Though inexperienced, Eddie insisted on joining Blue Devil's adventures, bringing comic relief to the stories. Years later, his path turned dark. As a teenager in the 2000s, Eddie struck a deal with the demon Neron, transforming into a horned, red-skinned being with super strength, durability, a tail, and flame powers. Taking the name Red Devil, he joined the Teen Titans, hoping to prove himself. But in 2009, in Teen Titans issue 74, his story ended. Eddie was killed in battle when Geiger exploded inside a jet, taking them both down. DC wanted to forget him because his tragic arc and fringe status never gained traction. Kid Devil became one more young hero quietly left behind. Up next are Batman's undercover soldier, a punk tech bat protégé, and Catwoman's own heir turned betrayer. Each promised legacy, but DC walked away. At number 7 is Orpheus, Gavin King, the unsung Gotham operative who stood beside Batman in the early 2000s. He first appeared in Batman, Orpheus Rising issue 1 in 2001, created as a socially conscious vigilante who could slip into Gotham's underworld. A former dancer and martial artist, Gavin wore a high-tech visor and stealth suit, operating out of Gotham's Hill neighborhood. Batman used him for a daring mission to unite the city's gangs from the inside, steering them away from violence while secretly working for the Dark Knight. Orpheus became Batman's undercover lieutenant, even leading his own gang while protecting the streets from lethal crime. But in 2004's War Games crossover, tragedy struck. Black Mask uncovered his secret and slit Orpheus's throat, then impersonated him to seize control of Gotham's mobs. DC wanted to forget him because his death was used only as a shock value to elevate Black Mask. Orpheus was never resurrected or restored in later continuities. Today, he remains buried in obscurity. At number 6 is Bluebird, Harper Row, the abandoned heir to Batman's legacy. She first appeared in 2012's Batman issue 7 during the New 52 era, introduced as a street-smart teenager from Gotham's Narrows with a gift for electrical engineering. Harper proved her worth early, saving Batman's life during the Court of Owls saga. In 2014's Batman issue 28, she took on her full costume and codename, Bluebird, making her the first new Bat family hero of that generation. With electrified weapons and a punk-styled suit, Harper became a protector of Gotham's poorest neighborhoods, fighting crime while caring for her younger brother, Cullen. In Batman Eternal, Batman officially welcomed her as part of the team, but her career was short. By 2017, she quietly stepped back from vigilantism as DC refocused on Stephanie Brown, Cassandra Cain, and Damian Wayne. DC sidelined her after she never found a strong niche once the classic characters returned in continuity. Harper Row wasn't killed or disgraced, just quietly retired. Today, Bluebird is remembered only in cameos. At number 5 is Holly Robinson, Catwoman's protégé who rose and fell in Gotham's shadows. She first appeared in 1987's Batman Year One as a juvenile prostitute living in Selina Kyle's neighborhood. For years, she lingered on the edges of Catwoman's world until the early 2000s when she became a major part of Selina's life. In the 2002 Catwoman series, Holly returned as Selina's closest friend in the East End. When Selina temporarily retired, Holly trained under Wildcat and stepped into the role of Catwoman herself, carrying the mantle for a time. She fought Selina's battles, patrolled Gotham, and stood as her most trusted ally. But in 2008, Holly's story took a darker path. Manipulated during Countdown to Final Crisis, she was framed for murder and forced to betray Selina. Her downfall ended her run as Catwoman's sidekick, and when the New 52 reboot arrived, Holly was erased from continuity. DC wanted to forget her because her arc collapsed into betrayal and villainy. A brief return in Rebirth confirmed her darker side, but did not restore her former importance. At number 4 is Arrowette, Sissy King-Jones, the would-be protégé of Green Arrow. She debuted in 1997's Impulse issue 28, the daughter of a Golden Age heroine who pushed her into archery from childhood. Inspired by Green Arrow and Speedy, Sissy adopted the name Arrowette and began fighting crime with her bow and a quiver of trick arrows. Her early adventures brought her into contact with Impulse, and soon she became a core member of the Young Justice team. On missions, she provided long-range precision and fierce loyalty, embodying the Archer legacy even though Green Arrow himself never officially mentored her. Her story, however, turned tragic. After witnessing a friend nearly die, Sissy almost crossed the line by trying to kill the man responsible. Shaken by how close she came to losing herself, she chose to retire from heroics. DC sidelined her because her arc ended with that decision, and the early 2000s Teen Titans relaunch moved forward without her. Today, Arrowette is alive but absent, remembered only as a retired sidekick. The last 3 sidekicks, a second Speedy, a future Robin from another world, and Gotham's only female Robin. These weren't background names. They carried the mantle, then lost it. At number 3 is Speedy, Mia Dearden, the second sidekick to Green Arrow. She was introduced in 2001's Green Arrow Volume 3, Issue 2, a runaway teenager who had survived years of abuse before being taken in by Oliver Queen. Trained by him, Mia mastered archery and martial arts, eventually donning a red costume and taking the name Speedy, honoring Roy Harper's legacy. She fought beside Green Arrow in Star City and briefly joined the Teen Titans, determined to prove herself worthy of the mantle. Mia's story was groundbreaking. In one storyline, she tested positive for HIV, making her one of the few heroes in comics to live with the condition openly. It gave her battles extra weight as she fought crime while also confronting her own mortality. Yet her darker backstory and the heavy themes surrounding her character made it difficult for DC to keep her prominent. DC sidelined her because her tragic history didn't fit the lighter tone of their new direction. When Flashpoint reset continuity in 2011, Mia vanished completely. Her heroic journey left unfinished. At number 2 is Carrie Kelly, the lost Robin of an alternate future. She made her first appearance in 1986's The Dark Knight Returns Issue 1, Frank Miller's story of an aging Batman in a dystopian Gotham. Carrie was a young girl who saved Bruce Wayne's life and earned the right to wear the Robin costume. Armed with a homemade suit, green glasses, and even a slingshot, she fought alongside Batman against the Mutant Gang and later the Joker, bringing hope to his darkest hour. Carrie's path continued in Miller's sequels, where she evolved into Catgirl and later Batwoman, proving her devotion to Gotham's cause. But despite her popularity, DC sidelined her because her story was locked in an alternate timeline separate from the main continuity of Batman's Robins. When Jason Todd died and Tim Drake succeeded him, Carrie was left out of the official Robin lineage. She resurfaced briefly in 2013 as a civilian friend of Damian Wayne, but never reclaimed the mantle. Today, Carrie Kelly exists as a legend of another world. At number 1 is Stephanie Brown, the forgotten Robin of Gotham. She first appeared in 1992's Detective Comics number 647 as the Spoiler, determined to foil the crimes of her father, the Clue Master. Over the years, she became a close ally of Tim Drake and a fixture in Gotham streets. In 2004, she achieved something historic. She donned the mantle of Robin, becoming Batman's official partner during the War Games storyline. Stephanie was the first female Robin in the main continuity, proudly wearing the red and green uniform and standing beside the Dark Knight. But her time was brief and tragic. Batman judged her unready and dismissed her. Determined to prove herself, she tried to execute one of his plans to control Gotham's gangs, only to be captured by Black Mask and tortured. She was gravely injured and believed to have died under Leslie Tompkins' care. DC erased her tenure as Robin, even refusing her a memorial in the Batcave, though later resurrected and restored as Spoiler and Batgirl. Which one do you think deserved better? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more hidden comic history.